From the moment we enter this world, we are handed a blueprint, rules, expectations, and beliefs about who we are and what we can become. These invisible boundaries shape our thoughts, our choices, and ultimately our reality. But who decided these limits? Who dictated what is possible and what is beyond reach? History speaks of extraordinary individuals who shattered expectations, defied conventions, and accomplished feats once deemed unattainable. The truth is, every single human being carries that same potential. It's not a matter of being special or chosen. It's a matter of recognizing the depth of power within. There exists a version of you that is boundless, limitless, and infinitely wise. This is not some distant, unattainable idea. It is your higher self. It has always been there, waiting beneath layers of conditioning, self-doubt, and hesitation. The question is no longer whether this potential exists, but whether you are ready to uncover it. Every child is born with an innate curiosity, an unshakable belief in possibilities, and a fearless spirit that reaches beyond what is known. But as time passes, the world steps in. Society, education, and experiences begin to mold the mind. Words like realistic, practical, and possible become barriers, slowly replacing the natural sense of wonder with caution, hesitation, and doubt. The mind becomes trained to see walls instead of doorways, limitations instead of opportunities. But deep down, something remains. A whisper beneath the noise, a pull towards something greater. The higher self is not something separate or new. It is the truest, most authentic version of who you are. It holds knowledge beyond logic, strength beyond measure, and creativity beyond imagination. It is the part of you that already knows the way forward. Yet, accessing this level of awareness requires a shift. It demands a willingness to question, to challenge, and to unlearn. It requires peeling away the layers of conditioning and stepping into a space where old boundaries dissolve. This is not about becoming someone else. This is about remembering who you were before the world told you otherwise. Think of a moment when something deep inside you just knew. No explanation, no evidence, just a certainty that felt undeniable. That was not wishful thinking. That was your higher self speaking. It communicates in subtle ways, through intuition, inspiration, and an unshakable sense of direction. But in a world filled with distractions, that voice often gets drowned out. Modern life is designed to keep the mind occupied, filled with endless noise and constant stimulation. Notifications, obligations, external expectations, all pulling attention outward, leaving little room to listen to the inner self. But the truth is, the answers sought externally have always been within. The clarity, the guidance, the next step, it all exists in the space between the noise. The path to unlocking the higher self begins with awareness. It begins with a willingness to pause, to listen, and to question. It is not about adding something new but removing the layers that obscure the truth. When those layers fall away, something remarkable happens. The mind expands. Creativity flows effortlessly. Decisions become clearer. Life begins to move in alignment with a greater force, one that has always been present. This is the awakening, the recognition that within every moment, within every breath, lies access to something far greater than the conditioned mind. A reservoir of wisdom, power, and limitless potential. And the most profound realization of all, it has been there all along. Unlocking your superconscious mind. The human mind is a vast, intricate system, capable of depths that most never fully explore. It operates across multiple layers, conscious, subconscious, and beyond. The conscious mind navigates daily life, processing logic, analyzing choices, and making decisions. The subconscious mind holds memories, patterns, and deeply ingrained beliefs that shape actions and perceptions. But there is another level, one that remains largely untapped. A space beyond limitations. A state of pure intelligence, creativity, and higher awareness. This is the superconscious mind. the gateway to limitless potential, the source of intuitive knowing, insight, and profound clarity. While the subconscious mind is shaped by past experiences, the superconscious mind exists beyond time. It does not rely on logic, memory, or external input. It is a direct channel to wisdom beyond the physical realm. Every invention, every revolutionary idea, every moment of genius born from this level of awareness. But here's the challenge. The conscious mind is loud. Questions, it doubts, it seeks explanations. It is conditioned to filter reality through logic, often dismissing anything that cannot be measured or proven. This is why most people remain disconnected from the superconscious. The noise of everyday thought patterns drowns out the deeper intelligence waiting beneath the surface. But when that noise fades, something else emerges, a state of pure clarity, a heightened perception, a knowing beyond reason. Throughout history, the greatest minds have accessed this state in different ways. Some through meditation, others through creative flow, and many through practices designed to bypass the thinking mind. The key is not in trying harder but in letting go, in creating space for the deeper intelligence to surface. Meditation, the gateway to higher awareness. The mind is in constant motion, filled with thoughts, judgments, and distractions. But beneath the surface of this mental activity lies something still, something vast. Meditation is not about emptying the mind but about quieting the unnecessary noise. When that happens, awareness expands, perception sharpens, the connection to the superconscious strengthens. In a meditative state, brainwave activity shifts. The mind enters a state of deep relaxation, where conscious resistance fades and deeper wisdom emerges. Answers appear without effort. Creativity flows without force. Intuition strengthens, guiding decisions with a clarity that logic alone cannot provide. This is why meditation has been practiced for thousands of years, not as a ritual, but as a tool for unlocking the limitless nature of the mind. Visualization, the power to shape reality. The human brain does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. Every image held in the mind's eye sends signals to the subconscious, shaping beliefs, emotions, and even physical reality. Athletes use visualization to enhance performance. Innovators use it to bring ideas to life. Visionaries use it to manifest realities that others cannot yet see. By creating a clear mental picture of a desired outcome, the subconscious mind is programmed to accept it as truth. Energy follows focus. When the mind consistently envisions success, alignment, and expansion, the external world begins to reflect those internal images. This is not wishful thinking. This is the science of focus, the ability to direct mental energy toward a chosen reality until it becomes tangible. But visualization is not just about seeing, it's about feeling. The stronger the emotional connection to an imagined outcome, the faster it materializes. Every thought carries energy. Every image creates momentum. The question is not whether visualization works, but whether it is used consciously or unconsciously. Mindfulness, the art of presence. The past is memory. The future is possibility. The only moment that truly exists is now. Yet, most people live either trapped in past experiences or lost in future worries. The power of the superconscious mind is only accessible in the present. The now is where alignment happens, where clarity exists, where the next step reveals itself effortlessly. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present, of engaging with life not through habitual thought patterns, but through direct experience. When fully immersed in the present, the mind stops wandering. Thoughts lose their grip. A deep connection forms not just with the self, but with the energy that flows through everything. This is where intuition sharpens, where decisions become effortless, where the mind aligns with the higher self, moving in sync with a greater force. The practice of mindfulness can be woven into everyday life. through breath, through awareness, through the simple act of paying attention. Every moment offers a choice, to be lost in thought or to be fully awake. The more present the mind becomes, the more the superconscious reveals itself. But beyond techniques, beyond methods, the true key to unlocking the superconscious lies in trust, in surrender, in allowing the mind to go beyond its conditioned limitations. The higher self is always present, always guiding, always whispering. The only question is whether that guidance is heard. The moment the conscious mind quiets, the voice of the superconscious becomes impossible to ignore. The language of the soul, connecting with your higher self. The mind is constantly filled with noise, thoughts racing, emotions shifting, endless distractions pulling attention in every direction. In the midst of this chaos, the voice of the higher self often goes unheard. But it never stops speaking. It whispers through intuition, through symbols, through the unshakable sense that there is something more. This voice is not loud. It does not demand attention. It does not fight for dominance against logic or fear. Instead, it waits. Patiently, persistently, always guiding. The challenge is not whether the higher self is speaking. It is whether the mind is quiet enough to listen. Every decision, every moment of hesitation, every pull towards something greater holds a message. The higher self does not communicate through doubt or confusion. It speaks in clarity, in knowing, in the deep sense of truth that resonates beyond logic. But recognizing this language requires awareness. It requires the ability to distinguish between the noise of conditioning and the purity of inner wisdom. Intuition, the unspoken knowing. There are moments when something inside simply knows. No explanation, no logic, just a deep, undeniable certainty. This is intuition, the voice of the higher self, guiding in ways that the conscious mind cannot fully understand. It is the feeling that something is right before evidence appears. The sense of unease that warns of danger before logic catches up. The instinct to move in a certain direction without knowing why. Most people experience intuition but dismiss it. The mind demands proof, explanations, rational conclusions. Yet, intuition does not operate through reason, it functions through direct knowing. It is a connection to a wisdom that exists beyond the thinking mind, a force that perceives without needing external validation. The more intuition is trusted, the stronger it becomes. The more it is ignored, the quieter it grows. The challenge is not in developing intuition, it is in relearning how to listen, how to recognize the difference between fear and truth, how to trust the subtle nudges that lead toward alignment. Dream interpretation, the hidden messages within. When the conscious mind rests, another world emerges. A world where logic dissolves, where time bends, where symbols hold meaning beyond words. Dreams have long been regarded as windows into the soul, revealing insights that the waking mind struggles to access. In ancient civilizations, dreams were considered sacred messages. They were seen as portals to higher wisdom, carrying answers, warnings, and revelations. Even today, dreams hold a power that is often overlooked. The subconscious and superconscious minds communicate through imagery, through emotions, through experiences that may seem strange or fragmented, but hold deep significance. Every dream is a reflection. Every symbol carries meaning. A recurring theme, a powerful emotion, an unfamiliar place. Each element holds a key to deeper understanding. The higher self speaks through dreams, offering insights that bypass the limitations of conscious thought. But dreams are not just random images. They are a dialogue, a form of communication between the conscious and the infinite. Understanding this language requires awareness. It requires attention to the details that often go unnoticed, the patterns that repeat, the emotions that linger. Inner dialogue, the conversation within. Every person has an ongoing dialogue with themselves. Thoughts rise and fall, emotions shift, beliefs shape perception. But beneath this surface-level chatter lies something deeper, a voice that does not criticize, does not judge, does not operate from fear. This is the voice of the higher self, the quiet knowing that has always been present, waiting to be heard. The challenge is in separating this voice from the conditioned mind. The mind is filled with narratives, stories inherited from society, from experiences, from the past. These stories often shape reality, influencing choices and beliefs without question. But when these layers are stripped away, when the noise is silenced, the truth emerges. Self-reflection is a powerful tool in this process. Taking time to sit with thoughts, to question beliefs, to write freely without censorship. These practices create space for the higher self to speak. They allow the mind to move beyond habitual thinking and into a state of deeper understanding. Journaling is one of the most effective ways to access this wisdom. Writing without restriction, without overthinking, without judgment. Letting thoughts flow freely onto paper, observing the patterns that arise, the insights that surface. This practice bridges the gap between the conscious mind and the deeper self, bringing clarity where confusion once existed. But beyond techniques, beyond methods, the key to connecting with the higher self lies in presence. In the willingness to pause, to listen, to trust that the answers already exist, waiting just beyond the noise. The language of the soul is not complex. It does not require mastery. It only requires attention. The higher self is always speaking. The only question is, are you listening? Embracing the superpowers within, manifestation and beyond. The mind is not just an observer of reality, it is a creator. Every thought, every emotion, every belief sends out a frequency that shapes the world around it. This is not philosophy. This is energy in motion, the science of consciousness, the unseen force that turns ideas into form, visions into reality, and possibilities into lived experiences. Most people live as though they are at the mercy of life, reacting to circumstances, hoping for change, waiting for opportunities to appear. But the truth is, every person holds an immense power, the ability to shape reality through intention, focus, and alignment. This is the essence of manifestation, the recognition that external experiences are reflections of internal states, that energy responds to energy, that reality is not happening to you. It is happening through you. But manifestation is not about wishing or hoping. It is not about waiting for the universe to provide. It is an active process, a deliberate alignment of thought, emotion, and action, a mastery of the inner world that naturally transforms the outer world. And at the core of this mastery are three fundamental forces: belief, focus, and embodiment. The law of attraction, the science of alignment. The universe operates on frequency. Everything, thoughts, emotions, circumstances, vibrates at a specific energetic level. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. High-frequency energy draws in experiences that match its vibration. Low-frequency energy does the same. This is why thoughts are not passive, they are magnetic. A mind filled with doubt, fear, and limitation creates a reality that reflects those states. A mind filled with certainty, gratitude, and purpose attracts experiences that align with that energy. The question is not whether manifestation works. It is whether the energy being projected is in alignment with the desired outcome. Manifestation begins with clarity. The universe responds to specifics, not vague wishes. A clear vision, a precise goal, an unshakable belief. These are the keys to unlocking the creative force of the mind. But clarity alone is not enough. The emotional state must match the vision. This is where most people struggle. They focus on what they want, but they feel lack, doubt, or desperation. They visualize success, but internally feel disconnected from it. And the universe responds not to the desire, but to the dominant vibration. The shift happens when belief and emotion align with the vision, when the mind no longer hopes for change but expects it. Creative expression, a channel for infinite energy. Every person has access to limitless creative energy. This energy flows through ideas, inspiration, and moments of deep passion. When fully expressed, creativity is not just an artistic act. It is a direct connection to the higher self. It is the space where intuition flows freely, where limitations disappear, where something greater moves through the mind and into reality. Creativity is not limited to art, music, or writing. It is present in every act of innovation, in every moment of problem-solving, in every idea that sparks transformation. When the mind is in a state of creation, it is in harmony with the flow of the universe. Resistance fades, doubt dissolves, and the higher self moves freely. But many people suppress their creative energy. They believe they are not talented enough, that their ideas are not valuable, that creativity belongs to others. This is conditioning. Creativity is not about skill. It is about expression. It is about allowing energy to flow without resistance. When creativity is embraced, something profound happens. The mind becomes a conduit for limitless possibility. Living your purpose. The ultimate alignment. Every soul enters this world with a purpose. A unique frequency, a specific path, a contribution that only they can make. Yet, many people spend their lives searching externally, hoping to find meaning in circumstances, careers, or achievements. But purpose is not found outside, it is remembered within. The higher self always knows the path. It speaks through passion, through deep interests, through the things that feel effortlessly aligned. It is not about forcing a purpose but allowing it to reveal itself. The mind often complicates this process, seeking validation, comparing paths, questioning whether a purpose is good enough. But true purpose is not measured by status or recognition. It is measured by alignment, by the feeling of expansion, of flow, of being fully alive. Living in alignment with purpose does not mean that challenges disappear, but it means that challenges become stepping stones instead of roadblocks, that obstacles are no longer seen as signs to stop but as opportunities to grow. Purpose is not something that needs to be created, it is something that already exists. The journey is simply about removing what stands in the way. When thought, emotion, and action align with this purpose, life unfolds with synchronicity. Doors open without force. Opportunities appear effortlessly. And the world begins to reflect the power that has always existed within. Transforming your life. Integrating your higher self. Awakening to your higher self is not a moment. It is a continuous unfolding. A process of shedding limitations, deepening awareness, and stepping fully into the infinite potential that has always existed within. But awareness alone is not enough. Transformation requires integration. It requires taking the wisdom, the insights, the superpowers unlocked throughout this journey, and embodying them in daily life. Many people experience glimpses of their higher self, moments of clarity, of intuition, of deep connection. But then old patterns return. The mind falls back into doubt, fear, and conditioning. This is the challenge of transformation, not in accessing higher consciousness, but in maintaining alignment with it, in living from that space consistently, rather than visiting it temporarily. Integration is the bridge between awakening and embodiment. It is the process of turning insights into action, of allowing the wisdom of the higher self to shape not just thoughts, but choices, habits, and interactions. This is where true transformation occurs, not in what is known, but in what is lived. Integrating your superpowers. Living from a higher state. Knowledge is only powerful when applied. The higher self is not separate from daily life. It is meant to be lived through every action, every decision, every moment. This means moving beyond temporary inspiration and into lasting change. It means making conscious choices that align with the deepest truth. One of the greatest challenges in integration is resistance. The mind clings to the familiar, even when it no longer serves. Growth requires stepping beyond comfort, beyond habits that keep energy stagnant. It requires a commitment to living from a higher state, even when the old patterns try to pull back. This begins with intention, setting clear, powerful intentions each day to embody the highest self, to operate from love instead of fear, to trust intuition over doubt, to respond instead of react. Intentions shape reality. They direct energy, focus, and momentum. A single conscious intention, when practiced consistently, has the power to rewire the mind and reshape external experiences. But beyond intention, embodiment requires practice. It requires action. The higher self is not accessed through thought alone, but through the way life is lived. Speaking with authenticity, expressing truth without fear, making choices that align with inner wisdom, even when difficult. Holding an energetic state of confidence, peace, and purpose. Moving through challenges with awareness instead of resistance. The higher self is not something to seek. It is something to be. It is a state of being that must be chosen, again and again, until it becomes the natural way of living. Embracing your potential. Releasing the old identity. True transformation requires letting go of the version of self that no longer aligns. The identity built on limitation, fear, and conditioning. Many people struggle with this not because they lack potential, but because they are holding on to the familiar. They fear stepping into their true power because it means releasing the past version of themselves. But evolution demands release. The higher self cannot be fully embraced while clinging to an identity rooted in old beliefs and limitations. This does not mean losing oneself, it means returning to the truest self. Shedding the false narratives, the self-doubt, the fear-based patterns. It means allowing expansion instead of resisting it. The question to ask is, what would my highest self do? Would they hold back or step forward? Would they doubt or trust? Would they shrink or rise? Every moment offers a choice, to operate from the old identity or to embrace the highest version of self. The transformation happens in these choices, in the willingness to embody the expanded self, even before it feels natural. A call to action. The journey begins now. The path to higher consciousness is not distant. It is not something that will happen someday. It begins now, in this moment, in this breath. The mind may try to delay, waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, the right external validation. But the higher self does not wait. It is ready. It has always been ready. Transformation is a choice to wake up each day and align with truth, to operate from clarity instead of confusion, to trust intuition over fear, to live with purpose instead of passivity. This journey is not about perfection, it is about presence, about consistently choosing alignment even when challenges arise, about recognizing that every step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward a greater reality. So the question is not whether transformation is possible, it is whether the choice will be made. The higher self is already here, waiting,